Does anyone need any extra? No, good. Do you need one, Blessed? Do you need the extra? Or you're fine? Slides.
Hello, señora. How are you too? Here, because, well, yeah, I just, yeah, I can picture it. Hey. Sorry.
I'll pay for the record.
Okay. Just a minute. Excuse me. Just a minute.
It's a typo. Everything else, the report and everything is correct, only the on the agenda.
Okay.
Es que mi se quitó. Pero que se ve, so the slides que no the slides. Thank you. I never knew that.
This typo on item 5 is the wrong number. It should say lot 6 instead of 9. The typo, it should be lot 6.
Yeah, it will, so you can either table it or you can ask, you can make the motion, pass it, and then we'll bring it back at the next hearing and ratify the decision with the correct number. So you clearly pointed out that it was the wrong number, it was a typo. If you want to speed things along, but it will be placed on the next agenda also to ratify.
So we can take the action, whatever it is, and then come back next meeting with the correct.
With the correct. So we do it twice, kind of, but at least.
But after today, can we take it to city council? Or we have to wait until the ratification?
I'm good either way, as
Okay.
long as it's ratified down here. and
Okay.
then we make sure that in the
Yeah,
city
okay.
council, it's
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Would you better discussion?
Yeah, we're
You
gonna
can
have
vote.
to do that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then
We gotta ratify it, but we can take it to.
just to be on the
city
safe side,
council.
in case anybody, we would bring it back and just ratify the decision, that was fine.
Because the report and everything else is right, correct. Don't worry about it.
Right. So just say it was a typo, you wanna make it clear on the record, you don't, okay. See what happened? You have any questions? Is it lot 6 to lot 9? And so, the recommendation is go ahead and move forward. We're bringing it back against the
We're good, Carlos.
Good afternoon. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission special meeting. Today is Thursday, August 24th, 2023. The time is 5:32 p.m. We are holding this meeting at Council Chamber of City Hall in Eagle Pass, Texas. We'll start by establishing quorum. We do have 4 members present. We'll move on to citizens' communication. Has anybody signed up to address the commission?
We have none.
Okay. So no citizens' communication. We'll move on to the first item. Minutes, number 1, approval of the minutes of the June 2nd, 2023, June 21st, 2023, and the July 13, 2023 meetings. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to.
Motion by Commissioner Valdez, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gross. All those in favor? Motion passes, minutes are approved. We'll move on to public hearings. Number 2, continuation of the public hearing on the proposed preliminary replat of Lot A and School Block of Chula Vista Subdivision Unit 5, including a waiver from Section 23-64 governing sidewalks and curb and gutter, closing of public hearing and possible action. We'll open the public hearing at 5:33 p.m. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So you have a replat application submitted by Ken Dirksen. Property legal description is Lot A in School Block of Chula Vista Subdivision Unit 4. The location is 202 School Circle. And like you mentioned, they're requesting a preliminary replat approval to subdivide an approximately .524 14-acre tract into 2 residential lots, including a sidewalk waiver and curb and gutter, including curb and gutter. This is to allow the property owner to install the proper city utilities and improvements before the plat recordation. Parcel size is 22,710 square feet. And it is out in the county within the 5-mile ETJ from the city boundary line. Here you have a photo of the site, some photos. And the reason behind, like I mentioned before, is to subdivide one lot, legal lot into 2 to service the vacant portion or the other portion that's being created. Here you have the proposed plat. Here you have the zoomed in plat drawing. As you can see, there's an existing residence on Lot 1A. And so the planning department's recommendation is that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to Eagle Pass City Council to 1, grant a sidewalk waiver request, and 2, to grant preliminary plat approval of the proposed replat of Lot A in School Block of Chula Vista Subdivision Unit 4, subject to the plat complying with the provisions of Article 3 of the City of Eagle Pass Code of Ordinances, Chapter 23, governing procedures and specifications for final plats. We did send out 62 notices to the abutting property owners, and 8 were returned as undeliverable. Any questions?
Are there any questions from the public on the item? If not, any questions from the commission? You didn't receive any in opposition or in favor?
No, sir, we did not.
So if no questions, we'll close the public hearing at 5:36 p.m. And is there a motion on the item?
I'd like to make a motion to proceed as recommended by Planning and Zoning.
Okay, motion to approve the recommendation for the planning department is by Commissioner Valdez. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Velasquez. Any further questions or comments? If not, all those in favor? Motion passes. Number 3, public hearing on the request submitted by Dora Elia Sanchez, Marisela Cortez, RSSR Construction LLC, and Dos Griegos Company LLC for the rezoning of a 9.84 acre tract located in the GC and SFRRCO Survey 3, Abstract 1007, Maverick County, Texas, and being part of a 17.92 acres tract described in Tract D of conveyance document to the trust company and others recorded in volume 1246, pages 205 and what follows of the Maverick County Official Public Records, Maverick County, Texas, from R1 Single 1 Family Dwelling District to B3 General Business District. Closing of public hearing and possible action. We'll open the public hearing at 5:38 p.m.
Thank you, Mr.
Go ahead.
Chairman. Again, you have a rezone application submitted by property owners Gloria Sanchez, Marisela Cortez, RSSR Construction LLC, and Dos Griegos Construction Company LLC. Property located at Loop 431, I'm sorry, that's incorrect, Spur 16, extension of 2nd Street. The request is here to rezone the parcel from R1, First One Family Dwelling District, to B3, General Business District, which is the higher use for the parcel. Currently vacant and undeveloped. The proposed use is the construction of storages. Again, it's 9.84 acres. And in the vicinity, you have a compromise of commercial, residential, single-family use, and multi-family complex directly to the rear of the subject lot. Here you have some site photos. This parcel is right next door to the Playmates, or in front, or to the rear you have the Latigo Apartments, if you're familiar with the area. Here are some additional photos of the site. And there is a discrepancy on the zoning map that we provided. It's, since our map is not updated, I just wanted to make that clarification that this area here is zoned, well, this is being rezoned, right? But this here, it's already zoned B3. It's not shown there, but it's zoned. It was rezoned. This over here up to the Tractor Supply, it's zoned R3. The rest, the remainder up to 50, well, all this here is R1. Obviously, because we want to grant this rezone because it's a competitive use to what's existing already. And so, with that said, we did send out 60 notices to the abutting property owners, and none were returned in favor or in opposition. So the Planning Department recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend that the City Council prepare and adopt an ordinance granting zoning district change from R1, First One Family Dwelling District, to B3, General Business District for subject property, with the following conditions: that the subsequent development comply with Chapter 8 governing buildings, Chapter 12 governing the electrical code, Chapter 13 governing fire code, Chapter 14 governing garbage and rubbish, Chapter 21 governing plumbing, Chapter 22 governing streets, sidewalks, and other public places, Chapter 23 governing subdivisions as a parcel is unplatted, Chapter 23 governing landscaping and tree preservation, Chapter 27 governing water and sewers including drainage, Appendix A governing zoning off-street parking, and also governing fences. As you know, if there's residential or multifamily to the rear, in this case immediately out to the rear, they would have to construct a fence at the time of lot development to serve as a buffer between commercial and residential. And that concludes the report.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from the public on this item?
We do have one of the property owners, Ms. Picuros, in the audience if there's any questions to be addressed, or if she wishes to address the commission. Okay, Francis?
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Catherine with Latigo. I guess my only question would be what kind of potential businesses would be going in? I know it's probably open at the moment, but like, would it be stores, restaurants, a larger facility, like not like Tractor Supply or something like that, or would it be smaller businesses? Or?
Do we have that information?
Currently, the proposed use would be storages.
Storage?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's what's being proposed. I mean, that could change.
It could change.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the public?
You're good, Francis?
If not, does the commission have any questions?
No.
So B3, you would say that's the appropriate designation for that
That's
lot?
correct.
And is this is not an unusual request?
No, sir.
Correct.
Typically, I mean, when there's a highway, you usually want to keep it as a B3.
Okay. So if there's no further questions or comments, we'll close the public hearing at 5:44 p.m. Is there a motion to approve the planning department recommendation as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Velasquez, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Valdez. Any further questions or comments? If not, all those in favor? Motion passes. Item number 4, public hearing on the request submitted by Rodolfo Trevino for the rezoning of Lot 13 in Block 13 of Hillcrest Addition, 204 Medina Street, from R3 Duplex District to R3A Apartment District. Closing of public hearing and possible action. We'll open the public hearing at 5:45 p.m. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you. This is another rezone application submitted by the property owner, Mr. Rodolfo Trevino. Property located at 204 Medina Street. The request is to rezone the parcel from R3 Duplex District to R3A Apartment District to allow for the construction of apartments. Currently, it's vacant. The proposed use, again, to build multifamily dwellings. The parcel is 8,550 square feet. And the site is in the area that is primarily comprised of single-family dwellings and also multifamily dwellings. Access to this lot is provided by Medina Street. Here you have some photos of the site. It's a corner lot. And here you have a site plan, a map, I'm sorry, of other apartments that are in the vicinity of the subject parcel. Here you have a copy of the master plan and the zoning map. We did send out 26 notices to the abutting property owners, and none were received in favor or in opposition, or as undeliverable. With that said, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommends that the City Council prepare and adopt an ordinance granting a zoning district change from R3 Duplex District to R3A Apartment District for property legally defined as Lot 13 in Block 13 of Hillcrest Addition, also known as 204 Medina Street, subject to the following conditions. The subsequent development of the property shall comply with the following sections in the City of Eagle Pass Code of Ordinances. Chapter 8, governing buildings. Chapter 12, governing the electrical code. Chapter 13, governing fire code. Chapter 14, governing garbage and rubbish. Chapter 21, governing plumbing. Chapter 22, governing street sidewalks and other public places. Chapter 23, governing landscaping and tree preservation. Chapter 27, governing water and sewers, including drainage. And Appendix A, governing off-street parking and also fences. As there's a residence next door to the subject parcel. And I believe there's another residence to the rear of that subject lot. Let me see. Yes, there's a residence. And that concludes the report. If there are any questions.
Are there any,
¿Usted es el señor Rodolfo? Okay, we have Mr. Trevino here in case there's any questions.
are there any questions or comments from the public on this item? All right, if none, does the commission have any questions or comments? All right, if not, we'll close the public hearing at 5:48 p.m. Is there a motion to approve the planning department recommendation as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Valdez, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Velasquez. Any further questions or comments? If not, all those in favor? Motion passes. For item number 5, there is a typo on the lot number. It should read lot number 6, not lot number 9. If the commission is okay with going through the presentation and deciding on the item, and then we'll have to come back at a later meeting and I guess reaffirm the correct lot number.
That's fine.
All right. So, item number 5, public hearing on the proposed preliminary replat of Lot 6 in Block 18 of Deer Run Subdivision, Unit 4, including a sidewalk waiver from Section 23-64 governing sidewalks, closing of public hearing and possible action. We'll open the public hearing at 5:49 p.m. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you. What you have before you is another replat application submitted by Dirksen Engineering. The developer, property owner Maria Teresa Guerra, located at 3674 Elk Lane in Deer Run. The request is for preliminary replat approval to subdivide an approximately .4132 acre tract into 2 residential lots, including a sidewalk waiver and curb and gutter, and this is to allow the property owner to install proper city utilities and improvements before plat recordation. The parcel size is 18,000 square feet, and there's an existing 1-story residence on site. Property is out in the ETJ in the county, and the site is located within an area that features residential developments. Access to the site is provided by Elk Lane and Fallow Lane. Here you have some site photos of the property. An aerial map of the subject property, and the proposed plat as well. We did send out 59 notices to the abutting property owners, and none were received in return. With that said, the recommendation from the planning department is that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to Eagle Pass City Council to grant a sidewalk waiver request for Lot 6B with the conditions that 1, the developer construct the sidewalk along the perimeter of said lot within 18 months after plat recordation, and 2, construct the sidewalk for Lot 6A before plat recordation and grant preliminary plat approval of the proposed replat of Lot 6 in Block 18 of Deer Run Subdivision Unit 4, subject to the plat complying with the provisions of Article 3 of City of Eagle Pass Board of Ordinances, Chapter 23, governing procedures and specifications for final plats. Is there anything you want to add to that, Placido?
Just want to make it really clear, especially with this one and in general moving forward. So we had a previous item where we granted a sidewalk waiver. A key factor that we're going to be looking at here is curb and gutter. In the previous example, it was a school circle, item 2. When there's no curb and gutter, it's been explained to me by our former Public Works Director, Mr. Sandoval, and current Public Works Director, Mr. Ibarra, that the curb and gutter is a critical part of the sidewalk installation. Without the curb and gutter, it's hard to line up. You base the sidewalk off of that curb and gutter. And so in the cases, the general stance is going to be in cases where there's a curb and gutter, we're going to be typically asking that they go ahead and put in that sidewalk. And in cases where there's not the curb and gutter, we're typically we're gonna be granting that waiver just because it's not practical to go ahead and do that installation. So that's a key difference here. And I think she already covered, but I guess I'll just repeat. So because there's already an existing building here, and there's not any way to assure that this area where the building already is will have that sidewalk constructed in the future, we are asking that be done at this point as part of the planning. But with the other vacant lot, which is shown at the bottom, Maverick County Planning, also very in support of sidewalks, will be able to make sure that happens at the time they try to get a building permit and build on that property. So we're confident that will be taken care of at that point. So that's the reason for splitting it up the way that the recommendation was presented.
We do have the engineer record also in the audience if there's any questions or if he wants to address the board or commission.
About the sidewalk, there's no sidewalk there. I think the owners will build the sidewalk. I think they're planning on building another house back there. And I think they want to wait on the sidewalk till they get a loan for the house so that they can put the financing of the sidewalk in with the house instead of going putting it in now, but whatever. If the sidewalk's got to go in right now, they also got to put in the utilities before the plat gets recorded. It's just more of a burden to get everything done right now before the plat's recorded. Yeah, whatever.
So just to address that, I mean, they're valid points. I definitely see that perspective from the engineer in this case, the representative of the applicant and homeowners. So we see that there's obviously a cost here. It's not cheap necessarily to build a sidewalk, even for just, I guess in this case, part of this, half of this replatted lot. So we would like, to try to work with them if possible. The concern is not being assured that they would do it at a later time. At this point, the leverage is the platting process. If we don't require they do it now, it may be difficult to enforce it at a later point. But I do fully agree that it is more economical probably and more cost effective to do it the way he explained with the loan and all at once. So if there would be a way we can have that assurance, the engineer, Mr. Dirksen, did point out that it's put on as a note on the plat. But again, that's just our concern is not being able to really enforce it in the future. So that's the recommendation, but we would like to help residents out if possible. We just weren't able to think of a strong way to make sure that it was going to happen in the future.
If it's noted on the plat and it's not done, how can the city enforce it or planning or the county?
We would start by notifying them and let them know that per the plat it was required. Outside of that, I'm not sure if legal counsel would be able to give us any other recommendation what enforcement measure.
Ultimately, if they fail to comply after sending letters and stuff, we could actually take them to court to force them because it's noted on. We would like to avoid that because of the fees associated.
Right. All right. Any questions, comments from the public on this item?
Something else, Ken?
All right. If not, are there any questions from the commission on the item?
Placido, so you said it is noted, or we would have to note it?
I think there is something on there that the sidewalk will be built. I think we put a note on there that the sidewalk will be built. But that's fine. If it needs to be on there down, it needs to get done down so everybody will feel comfortable. We'll just tell them to go do it. And they'll just have to go find the money and go do it. Because otherwise this will keep coming up and up and up and up and up. It's that last note.
Gets a little bit blurry when we zoom in, but there's a note: sidewalk must be built after development of lot 6B, or within 18 months of recording the plat. So even if they, for some reason, do not build on 6B, when the 18-month point arrives, they would, according to the note, be obligated to do that. So the note is there, it's just what we would have to do to enforce that at the time if it were not to be done, is a concern.
Do you think we should reword the plat note, Eddie?
I mean,
It depends
Sure,
on.
our recommendation has always been, do it now, there's a lot of stuff that can happen, they have a ton of work, they can't follow up 18 months later, or they may forget, but if this is a concession, it can clearly be done, but we usually try to do everything up front. You have the engineer here saying that he'd like to do it up front as well, so you can leave that that note there, but if they want to do it now, it's even better, because then Blasio and Maneros don't have to worry about it.
Well, just to clarify, they're asking for a waiver from doing it now. They would like to do it all in 18 months.
Yeah, the question is to delay the construction of the sidewalk until that other lot is built.
It's within your discretion, but from a legal standpoint, we always, if you're gonna approve something, approve it now without any sort of provisional conditions, because it just makes it hard for administration. We've seen, that's been our experience. But can you do it, and do you have the discretion? Yes, you do. To follow what planning and zoning is recommending, or to do what the engineer is asking.
Well, because if they build on the vacant lot, planning will enforce it, but not on the house.
Construction, no.
Yeah.
We have no jurisdiction for development
Mhm.
of lots in the county.
But just to confirm, this is outside city limits,
Yeah,
so it would
but-
be a county
Yeah.
permit,
Yeah.
not a city permit.
But
So
the,
it makes it even
It's an ETJ.
harder.
Yeah. You're an ETJ.
Yeah.
All right, any further questions, comments?
So where do you all stand? I guess to clear it up for them, what, your recommendation, or are you okay with what the engineer is asking?
We feel like a middle ground is asking that because one of them has a house on it. We're
Mhm.
asking that the sidewalks be done on that one with the house now, because we don't necessarily expect them to come and need a building in the future. The other one that's vacant, we do expect they'll build on it, and the county will require
Right.
the sidewalk to be done then, so it will all be complete at that point. So we're trying to meet in the middle somewhat.
like, could they do the sidewalk on the house and then we can delay the vacant lot?
That's exactly
That's-
what it is.
Right?
That's the
Yeah.
recommendation.
Okay.
It helps the owner not to incur that expense
Right.
now. It's when he or she sells it, and at that point,
Mm-hmm.
when the building is under construction.
Once that's, the sidewalk is built on the developed lot,
Mm-hmm.
they have to come back to you all as final, once that's constructed, inspected, and approved by county and city.
Thank you, Eddie.
Mr. Chairman, I have to leave.
Yes,
May
sir.
I have you excused?
Yes, sir, thank you. All right, so no further questions or comments? If not, we'll close public hearing at 6:01 PM. And is there a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion to move forward as recommended by the planning department.
Okay, so a motion by Commissioner Gross to approve the recommendation with the conditions placed on the property.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Velasquez. Any further questions or comments? If not, all those in favor? Motion passes.
Just to clarify, Ms. Secretary, so we're able to take action, but we'll bring it back to ratify
Yes.
because of the typo on the agenda?
Yes, it'll just be a ratification of exactly what they voted on right now.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so no further items in the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Valdez, second by Commissioner Velasquez. All those in favor? Motion passes. Meeting adjourned at 6:02 PM. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken.
Being here with us,